Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer.
Welcome back to the Impactful Engineer Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Maxey. We discuss engineering careers, how to build them, how to accelerate them, and how to separate yourself from the norm. We want aspiring and current engineers to know they can flourish in their chosen field. All right, today we are diving into something that every engineer and really every professional needs to hear. It's a hard truth, but an essential one. And here it is. Stop deferring hard, important work to tomorrow, thinking you'll magically have more focus and energy. Then you won't. You see, there's this mindset of a lot of us can fall into where we take it easy today, convincing ourselves we'll push extra effort tomorrow. We'll put in that grind tomorrow. We'll have our energy tomorrow to do it. It's like eating junk food today because we'll work it off tomorrow in the gym, or cruising through a light workload because tomorrow will be the day we crush it, right? Thinking we can out-train a bad diet or outwork ourselves tomorrow into quality deliverables. But here's the kicker. That mindset, it just feeds into a cycle that kills your consistency and your growth. It's like riding a roller coaster, ups and downs in energy, workload, focus. It's not a great place to find yourself in if you want to make a big impact. If you're only performing when you're under the gun, your back's against the wall, or there's this huge deliverable that you need to make, and you only have a certain amount of time left to do it, it feels like you don't have enough time, so you're cramming, which can be beneficial at certain points and can be used to your benefit. But if you're only doing that, if you're only performing when you're under the gun, you're not leaving any room for personal improvement. So you're missing the opportunity to build better systems, streamline your processes, and become more efficient. You're basically handcuffing your potential by allowing slow periods to mean lazy periods. We've all been there. The non-urgent but critical tasks that get pushed to when things are slow, and then when things actually slow down, what happens? Instead of tackling those long-term needle-moving tasks, right? We then just choose the easy, familiar stuff. We kind of float, right? We choose the stuff that feels productive, but really isn't moving the ball forward, and it can be a trap for you. By doing this, you're teaching yourself that slow times are periods when you don't need to be at your best. You start to associate your work rhythm with these insane peaks and valleys. So like 80-hour work weeks followed by 35-hour weeks, right? Followed by another hell week and so on. So it gets exhausting. Instead, let me tell you what's going to save you from this. It's consistency. And let me explain. Integrating those small, boring, but important tasks into your workload every day. That's what I mean. It's a usual part of the program. So stop treating them as optional and things that you push off or don't want to do, and start seeing them as part of your core job. So they aren't glamorous, these tasks, but you know what? They're the things that will ultimately make you a better engineer, a better leader, and a better professional. And you don't even realize it's happening because you're doing them regularly, not saving them for some mythical tomorrow, right? That always becomes today and never shows up. When you balance your workload like this, something awesome happens. You don't experience the roller coaster spikes and crashes. You stop thinking in terms of hard or easy weeks. Instead, it's just work, moving forward on a consistent path, improving little by little each day. And that's really the key. Is the small improvements over time instead of letting things bunch up and choosing some arbitrary time in the future that you're going to get those things done. It's got to be integrated into your work. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing in real time, weekly, not saving it for tomorrow. So think about it like this. When you stop putting off the important but boring tasks, you're making space for smoother, more sustainable progress. Instead of constantly swinging between being overwhelmed and underwhelmed, you'll hit a steady state stride. You'll always have something meaningful to work on, and you'll be way more effective when the high stakes, urgent projects come up. You won't be sitting there wishing that you had done those improvements that you thought of during the last busy time, but that you never got to, right? And we all have those as we're working and as we're grinding, and when we finish and we look up and we go, man, it would have been better to have these things in place, or man, you've maybe even taken some notes and have a list of improvements that can be made, and then that list sits there and you look at it and you do some easier stuff, or you take some time off, which is fine, or maybe you just kind of slip back into something comfortable that you know how to do that's doesn't take a lot of brain power to get you through. Maybe some distractions slip in, and that list just sits there, right? And then eventually it goes away because it's too pain in the butt to have it staring at you, and you don't want to look at it anymore. So the key here is to bring that list into your everyday workload. Why this is top of my mind, I've been working on this with one of my direct reports because they straight up asked me recently how to make their energy to perform their work basically evenly distributed, and keep themselves from getting distracted. So there was two things: this lull in work that led them to not perform as efficiently and productively and as focused as they do when there's a deadline. And then also in the small times in the slow times, they were getting distracted. And this guy's awesome. I mean, it's so cool to have questions like that they noticed that and they want to improve that. This person is going to have an impactful career. I can tell you that right now. So really, we talked about the distraction and had some conversation about it. And what we found it really boiled down to was the fact that their brain allowed distractions in because they wouldn't be working on things that were as engaging as they were last week or the day before that milestone was reached. The work that they would be engaging in to make some improvements, that the low urgency stuff, but that's super important. It wasn't in his mind as important as the stuff that you'd be working on, those critical tasks, to deliver that milestone on the deadline date that would be highly visible. The client would, of course, be reviewing it. We would be reviewing it in-house. We would be working forward from that deliverable. So, those are things that are crucial. And so he's willing to work on that with extreme focus because it's very important, because he can be held accountable to that. And the thing that he produces is going to be what's critiqued. This other stuff that is just as important in my mind, it doesn't hold that weight to this person. So then their brain is allowing the distractions to come in. Oh, we could do this for a few minutes, or we could do this easier thing instead of doing these, which we don't really know how to do, and we actually have to work just as hard as we were to get these done. Can't we take a break right now? No one's going to be, quote unquote, seeing or using these things right away in any sort of manner that's going to make us feel important or fulfilled or have high stakes to it, right? But that's the catch. You need to create that urgency and create those high stakes around those boring work tasks so that you can get them done, and your brain is not going to interject and say, oh, we can do these other things. So we boiled it down to they weren't perceiving these things as super important, and so then they allowed the distractions to come, and they're performing at a lower level. So when you have your back against a wall, you don't let those distractions in, like we talked about. You don't even have to deal with them, really. So creating that energy for yourself is going to be very important. Being able to create that scenario for yourself, no matter what you're working on, is going to be important. So the only way out of it is to start forcing yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Refrain from doing menial, comfortable stuff when it's slow. And it's going to be really hard. You're going to have to put a trigger in, like, oh, it's slow now and I'm starting to work on things that I'm comfortable with and I'm getting distracted. That's your trigger. And you're going to have the discipline to act on that trigger and say, whoa. Where's the stuff that I've prepared that is important that I need to be moving the needle on? And then you can slowly start breaking out of that cycle of working on menial tasks that are easy for you when it gets slow. Then you can start incorporating that work into your daily routine. So that way you never have to deploy that discipline again. It's just the work. Put that in somewhere. So my advice to you is this: stop trading tomorrow for today. Stop thinking that you can make up for lost time later. Stop choosing easy, menial shit today that doesn't move the needle and thinking you'll get back to the good stuff tomorrow. Know that the work is just the work and that it's all valuable. Otherwise, why the hell are we doing it? Why are we here? You might as well just go home. Instead, integrate that important stuff into your daily grind and keep an even keel. Level out those hills and those valleys. Stop doing the 80-hour work weeks, dropping into and grinding through a sluggish 35 or 40 and wondering what you should be doing or that you might not be doing enough because you've only worked 40 that week. Even it out by having a plan of what you're going to work on between deliverables. And the way that your workload is going to be evened out is by moving the needle on self-development, professional development, technical skills, SOPs, putting things in place that make your job easier for the next time, instead of skipping those, not working on them, and then rushing right into another deliverable with the same efficiencies as you had before. That's all for today's episode. If you found value in this, share it with your fellow engineers or anyone you think needs a wake-up call about their work habits. As always, stay focused, stay consistent, and keep making an impact. I'll see you on the next one.